Click the links for Odysee and BitChute. Alright, so the great Gingerpocylpse continues. The ginger-sided Batgirl. They also are turning Robin gay or bisexual or something. And they're coming out with a black Superman, but there already was one, so that's not really an issue. And Dune is getting a female prequel. Oh, we're going to outrage the Chads. No, women were very... they played a pivotal role in the original Dune. The guys... His mom was a Bene Gesserit witch. His sister, his girlfriend, wife, they're all very important in Dune. And then you had the sisterhood itself. So it's like, you're not really outraging anybody by having a prequel. It's wondering, like Dune, it's like they should have had way more stuff coming out within the Dune universe. It's kind of weird how that didn't really catch on with people as much. It was too... I don't know, there's something about Dune that was just kind of too far out there for a lot of people. Though it was, they made a couple of good movies, and they're on YouTube actually floating around. Anyway, so what's up with the ginger side? Replacing the most rare minority on Earth with a much more common group. You got red hair and green eyes and blonde hair, blue eyes. Those are the world's most rare people. It seems odd that Hollywood would replace them. Aren't they pushing representation? Oh, you sweet summer child. No, not at all. They never believed in that. They are globalists. They hate Europeans. Red and blonde unambiguously represent peak Europe in the north and west areas. Keep in mind, this list I am scrolling through is already 2 years old. This is just what they've done in 2 years. So if you want to partake in the humiliation ritual, it's stronger if you attack red and blonde than a Mediterranean folks with dark hair and dark eyes. We keep talking about how much the globalists hate you. They're replacing and dehumanizing you as fast as possible. They're saying that these shows are not for you. You don't matter to them anymore. They have found new customers, and they definitely don't want your financial support. Basically, they'd rather burn it all down than let you have anything you enjoy whatsoever at all. You saw how well Batwoman did. I'm not sure if you've seen that show. If you haven't, go at least try to watch one episode. It has to be seen to be believed. You just can't imagine what it's like. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in terms of writing. Writing. Because the sets and the costumes all look pretty good. It all looks like, oh, this should be something. This should be... And then you hear them speak their lines that somebody wrote from them. You're like, this is insane. It also makes one wonder if there's like a big audience of black females who are looking for shows like this. Apparently not, because they're not watching it. Look at what they're willing to do to show you how much they hate you. Humiliate and dehumanize an existing audience, allegedly for an audience that almost doesn't exist. It's not about money for them. They are filthy globalists. They're doing this on purpose. The normie thinks that these are for-profit corporations giving the customer what they want so they can profit. No, there's not a chance of that. There was an interview with a Disney globalist, I think, who was saying that they were leaving money on the table by not including more visibly diverse and LGBT in shows, which would be true if that audience wasn't watching a show because it didn't have those things, and would if the show did. And you wouldn't lose the old existing audience. But you see the logical fault here. If a small group isn't interested because they don't see themselves, well, isn't it logical to assume that a big group will also feel the same? That they're going to dip out if they don't see themselves? Especially now with everything that's going on, the different tribes are not getting along, as that was probably the worst redesign I've ever seen. At what point somebody has to look at this, whoever's sitting at these tables designing these costumes, and look at this and go, yeah, this one's a miss. We tried, and this one's a miss because she looks like a streetwalker. My point is, people don't really want to see this Pollyanna world created on screen that's created by the worst people on earth. People who are coming up with these ideas while, sniffing a lot of alkaloids from South America, and they think they're just genius, and they come up with stuff like this, and normal people look at them and goes, you guys need to get out more among normal humans who don't do narcotics 24/7. And you probably want to lighten up with the whole blonde people are always evil in every single issue of everything. People have been naive, but they're waking up to what is going on with the Hollywood propaganda machine. So if you replace the blonde heroes and make the antagonists all blonde, you're going to lose much of your audience. They're not leaving money on the table because they're shrinking their audience, not expanding it. And they know this. They're lying to you. They know their marketing. They're not dumb. They're evil. There's a big difference. They want to destroy these shows, and then they want to blame the audience. Oh, you intolerant chads. And you know, one thing the culture war has taught me is that there are fanboys, fans, and customers. Accept that you are a customer, not a fan, and don't ever be a fanboy. Star Wars isn't Moby Dick or even Jules Verne's. Things like G.I. Joe, He-Man, even good comics, these aren't classics written by masters. Social media lets us look behind the curtain to see how the sausage is made. And most of the people in comics or Hollywood are really horrible people. They're not all Weinsteins, but there are a lot of people who didn't care enough to make a scene as long as they were getting paid. Normies think this African for Ireland and Scottish swap is altruistic from a bleeding heart liberal. Their hearts are cash registers and their soul belongs to Lucifer. They don't love Africa, they just hate Europe, and these people are never on your side. They're not on anyone's side but your own. And if you think they're on your side, you're just a useful idiot along for a temporary ride until they need to frog and scorpion you. These are the wealthiest companies in the world, but they're controlled by people who are willing to burn it down. They're not negligent. They are acting intentionally, and I know some of you know what's up, because YouTube deletes your comments. All these stories weren't created by angels by any means, but though we tend to think of these classic comics as being brilliant because we read them in our childhood, But the people in control of them now are as close to demons as you can get, and some of them are definitely drinking the Kool-Aid. I mean, that they think that they're on a mission from God, half a pack of cigarettes and a tank of gas, and now is the time to pull the trigger. That's why you see the banks banning right-of-center activists, and Hollywood, the media, and the schools are kind of taking off the mask. Some Soros-funded district attorney overcharges a right-wing guy, while left-wing violence has cost $2 billion, plus dozens of lives. That gets ignored by Ted Wheeler and Governor Brown. Doesn't that seem a little odd to anyone? And then you add in what you see in commercials. You don't see a happy blonde family unless it's intertribal and BLT. Watch commercials and start noticing. It's not POC. It's specifically like 80% black in everything, which is a little weird because the Spanish population is the fastest growing population, but they're passed over for African actors as if they want to hide the Spanish, or maybe they're just not high enough on the oppression ladder, or maybe they're trying to distract people from the BLM rioting or kind of, I don't know, reset the narrative on the rioting, or maybe it's just all part of the humiliation ritual. Annie and Grease were like huge for the girls in the 80s. And for some reason, the guys didn't get into Grease. I mean, maybe it's just too much of a musical, except for the hot chick in it, what's her face, that Australian girl. And it had cars in it and stuff, but I don't know, for some reason, that Annie, Grease, and Karate Kid, I think that the soundtracks were huge with chicks. Anyway, someone made the point of, if you really cared, you just create new characters and not replace the old ones. Additive, not substitutions. So they're sending a weird message that we can't create pox characters. So we got to take an established European character, take all the lore, their accomplishments, and just hand them to you, completely unearned. It's really patronizing when you stop to think about it. Make new black and Mexican characters. Market them to that audience. If it works, if it sells, continue it and give them more. If there's no interest, then move on. Don't try to put a square peg in a round hole. Not everything is for everybody. Usually when you try to please everyone, you please nobody. It seems like that is the SJW plan. They start off trying to make crap that nobody wants. Then when it fails, they blame the audience. Shows like this, Batgirl, Supergirl, the Vagrant Queens type of shows by our own mags, nobody even knows they're on mostly. They get like very few people watching them for good reason. You stumble across them on the networks or the streaming, and you watch a few minutes and you realize why. They're absolute. Seriously, go watch Batwoman. Oh, go watch. Just try to watch Batwoman. Good luck. It's nonstop Mary Sue's and Purse Puppies, and it's always, always, always Blind Man Bad. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys. I'll see you all next episode.